Hello, welcome to the Akira Furball Studio. Before we start, I'll apologize. I'm completely new to this content creation, making tutorials, this Discord, YouTube. It's all completely new to me. I'm nervous as hell. I'm actually very camera shy. I don't like being this end of the lens one bit. I'm right out of my comfort zone. So bear with me. It's going to take a while before I settle into this and find my feet and get comfortable with it. But anyhow, right, this is going to be the first in a series of tutorials I want to create to take you from complete no knowledge about Blender whatsoever through to the point where you will be able to create objects for Second Life, texture them, export them, get them into Blender and into World. Not massively complex, sort of like huge, massive projects, but the foundations you need. What my aim is to try and teach in a different way to what a lot of people are teaching and the way a lot of people are trying to learn, because a lot of tutorials, they teach you how to make something. People find a tutorial, they want to make a necklace, they'll search for a tutorial how to make a necklace, they'll watch a tutorial how to make a necklace and make a necklace, but they're not learning what the tools that they're using to do that actually do and why they do it and how they do it and what else they can do. They're just learning that one thing, and then the next thing you want to make, find a tutorial to make the next thing. What I want to do is to teach people the foundations, the basic tools properly, so that you understand not only what you're doing but why you're doing it. And I failed to learn 3 times trying to learn Blender, by doing it by following tutorials and on how to do various things. And this last time I thought, no, I'm not going down that road. I'm just going to learn from the bottom and work my way up and understand what I'm doing before I go any higher. So that's how I've been learning, and it's been a lot faster to learn because I understand what I'm doing. And when I do something new, it's only a small thing that I'm adding to what I already know. And it's not nearly so confusing. Whereas before, I would learn how to make something, but when something went wrong, I didn't know how to fix it because I didn't understand any of the stuff that I did to make it. I just knew what steps to follow to make it, but I didn't understand what each of those steps was actually doing. So when something went wrong, I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't know how to correct it. And I was just spending my whole life searching for answers to how to fix problems and getting more and more confused. So that's my plan. I don't know whether it'll work. I don't know whether anybody will be interested in learning that way. It tends to be that most people, they want to jump the gun and they want to learn to run before they can walk. If you want to learn to walk before you can run, then tag along and let's see where we go, where we get to, and how it works out. This video, I'm just going to cover the program preferences and some things that you can change in there before you even get started. So we'll batter straight into that now. Let me just move this camera out the way and edit menu and preferences. There's quite a lot of stuff in here, but most of it you don't need to touch. First thing to look at is the interface resolution scale. I have mine set to 1.4. By default it starts at 1. That's too small for my aging eyes. Even with my 50-inch display, I can't read half of that. So I have mine set to 1.4, but you can change the scale of the interface to whatever you're comfortable with. So let me just put that back to 1.4 because that's viewable on YouTube as well. Viewport lights, editing and animation. There's not really anything in there that I can ever recall ever changing, so we'll just skip right past those. Add-ons is add-ons that are installed in Blender. A good number of these will be installed in Blender when you download and install Blender. A good number of these add-ons will already be installed. They may not be activated, but they'll be in this list in the add-ons. Extensions is add-ons that haven't been shipped with Blender and haven't been installed into Blender. Extensions, you can extend the number of add-ons you've got by using the extensions. Give it that way. They're basically the same thing. The extensions are still add-ons, and once you've installed them, an extension, it turns up in the add-ons, so it's the same thing. The extensions add-ons is the same thing. It's just where they are. So if you're told to try an add-on, the first place to look is in add-ons. You can search for it with the search bar at the top. If it's not in add-ons, the next place to look is in get extensions. When you come into get extensions, it will give you a warning here saying that it needs online access, because the extensions are in the Blender's online repository. They're not on your PC and they're not in Blender. They're online, so it needs online access to get the extensions list. So you have to enable online access, which you should do anyhow. And then you can search for it here. If it's not on, if you've not already got it at some point, then it'll appear in the search with an install button here. All you need to do is click the install button. That will download it and it will install it, and it will then appear in your add-ons list. Most of the time it will download it, install it, put it into your add-ons list, and it will also check the little box to enable it to be used. But you should just pop into add-ons and make sure that it has enabled it, because if there isn't a tick in this box, then it's installed but it's not enabled for use. So that's your extensions. You can also add themes from the get extensions as well. If you click themes, it gives you like list of like hundreds and hundreds of themes. I don't install themes from there because you've got no idea what they look like without going to the extensions.blender.org. So I just go to the extensions.blender.org and look for themes, and then you can just drag the link from the website, drop it on your Blender window, and it installs it. That's it, job done. But you can get themes there if you want to. So that's extensions and add-ons. There's a bunch of add-ons that you should install pretty much right away, but I'll cover them once we've got this first couple of videos out of the way. We'll cover what you need to install. Themes, again, if you install a theme either from the online repository or in get extensions, it will appear here. This is the Blender dark theme, this is the Blender light theme, and this is the Akira Furball theme. my fancy theme. I like this. I like this theme. It's nice, techie feel. So you can install XML themes from here. If you've got XML themes on your PC, you can install them from here. You can create new themes, and you can change all the colors of any themes that you've actually got loaded up. Like if I go to 3D viewport, these are all the things that you can change the colors for in the 3D viewport. If you want to have a play in here, I would go in here to the 3D viewport and change the edge width up. The edge width and the vertex size and the origin size are really small. I like them to be a bit thicker so you can see them clearer. So that's the width of those items. So that's the themes. My theme, the Akira theme, this theme, I'll put on my Discord when I've got this video uploaded to YouTube and linked in my Discord. I'll stick this Akira theme, the XML file and the zip file that you can just drag and drop onto the Blender window to install. I'll put those in the same post with the link to the YouTube video. So if you want that theme, jump in my Discord and grab it. My Discord is completely free. There's no Patreon. There's no Patreon for my YouTube channel. I don't want any money from anyone for anything. This is just me. I want to help people. People helped me, and now I want to help other people if I can. So that's all it's about. I'm not interested in money or paywalls or any of that nonsense. So that's the themes. Input. There's nothing I change in input, but it's got emulate numpad and emulate 3-button mouse. In my opinion, a keyboard with a numeric keypad is a necessity. I couldn't deal with Blender without it. The numeric keypad is extremely useful. You can use it for all the different view positions in your 3D viewport, for aligning your camera to your view, switching between camera and viewport view, expanding selections, contracting selections, and all kinds of things that you can do with the numeric keypad. If you don't have a numeric keypad, you can try the emulate. I don't know how that works, but I would consider just buying a cheap keyboard with a numeric keypad, even if it's just for Blender, because it is extremely useful. Likewise, 3-button mouse, it's not essential. You can emulate it, but if you haven't got a 3-button mouse, I would just get a cheap 3-button mouse, because it's going to save a lot of heartache. So that's the input. Navigation here, you will need to have a wee play with some settings in here and find out what works for you. The default navigation, if I add a cube here, the default navigation, you click and drag with your mouse wheel, your middle mouse button, to rotate the view. And let me just bang that cube bang in the middle. Oh, right. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm wondering why that weren't working. I'm not on default. Right. That's it. I'll put it back. I'll put it on the default settings now, so it's working the default. Right. So by default, the middle mouse button, you click and drag to rotate your view, and it rotates around the center of this viewport, this 3D view window. It rotates around the dead center of it, not the center of these axis crossers. It rotates around the center of the viewport. This cube happens to be right at the center of the viewport, so it rotates around this cube. What I don't like about this is when you've got more than one object, if duplicate, got another one here, and I want to rotate around that cube, you've got to hold down Shift, middle mouse button, click and drag, get that cube right into the middle of the viewport to rotate around it. It's just awkward. And if I want to work on the back face of that cube, for instance, you can't just rotate round to it easily. You've got to come all the way round. It's a lot of faffing about. I don't like it. I just don't like it. I didn't like it when I first tried Blender, and I don't like it now, and I will never like it. It just does not make any sense to me, that way of working. So what I like, my thing, what floats my boat, is to turn depth on and turn zoom to mouse position on. What that does is the depth, it looks underneath the mouse pointer when you right click, or when you middle click to move the viewport or do anything in the viewport. It looks underneath the mouse pointer for objects and works out the distance to them and where they are in 3D space. It then rotates around the point that you're clicking on that object. So if I middle click and drag from here, it'll rotate around that top face of that cube. If I do the same thing on this cube, it'll rotate around that cube. That makes much more sense to me. If I want to work on the back of that particular cube, I can just rotate it around and work on the back of that cube. If I want to work on the back of this one, I can just do the same. I can just rotate around the back of that one. That makes a lot more sense to me. And the zoom to mouse position, as you can probably guess, zooms to wherever the mouse is. So it looks under the mouse, finds that cube, and when I zoom, it zooms into to that cube. And if I put my mouse over this one, it will zoom towards that one. Much better, much easier. That's what does it for me. That's what I like for the user interface. But you may not. You may prefer the default method, or you may also prefer this orbit around selection. What that one does is it will rotate around whatever object is selected. So if I select this cube, it doesn't matter where I middle click and drag. If I select that cube, that's the one it will rotate around. So I can click and drag anywhere in the viewport, and it will always rotate around that selected cube. Same if I select that one, it will always rotate around that one. That's quite good, but when you get more complex scenes with more objects and you're working in edit mode, for me it starts to fail me and get awkward to work like that, having to have something selected to rotate around it. So I've tried it a few times and I always end up turning it off again and going back to the depth and zoom to mouse position. But I would, if I was you, I would add a few objects into the viewport and then play with those settings. Rotate around selection, depth, and zoom to mouse position, and figure out which one works best for you, and then go with that. Job sorted. Whatever suits you then suits you, you know. Right, so that's navigation. Keymap is the key maps, keyboard shortcuts. In here you can search for them by function. So if you want shortcuts that are to do with saving, you can type save, and then you get shortcuts that are to do with saving. Save Blender file, save as, save Blender file, save image, save as image, save as. You can also search for keyboard shortcuts. So if someone's told you a keyboard shortcut and you don't know what the actual function is that shortcut is performing, you can search for the shortcut here. So if I click on key binding and type in Shift D, then it'll tell me what shortcuts use Shift D. And what parts of the user interface they work in. So object mode, it duplicate objects, Shift D. Meatball, duplicate, Shift D. So that's keyboard shortcuts. You can change them here. I wouldn't change them if I was you until you settled in. There's an awful lot of shortcuts, and you can end up overwriting shortcut that you need somewhere else in Blender if you don't know what you're doing. Speaking of shortcuts, I hate the things. I really do despise shortcuts. I've got a terrible memory for shortcuts. It's extremely hard for me to learn shortcuts, but they're a necessary evil. There's millions of them, but they are a necessary evil, and I would really recommend and advise, even if you despise shortcuts, start using them right from the get-go. Start learning them right from the get-go, especially the ones that you're going to use a lot. Learn them right from the start and use them right from the start, and get them so it's complete muscle memory, and you just think of what you want to do and your finger hits the keyboard and does it, because it is so much faster, and it is so hard trying to find everything in the menus. It's unreal. Because these menus change with everything that you do in Blender. If I go into edit mode, you see you get a completely different set of menus. Each menu's got like loads of sub menus in it, and finding anything in these menus can be an absolute nightmare. Harder than learning the shortcuts often. So take it or leave it. If you take my advice, learn shortcuts and start using them right from the get-go. You'll thank me for it later. System. Here's where you can set what graphics card you've got for the rendering and the 3D viewport. If you don't have a 3D graphics card, obviously you've got to go with none. CUDA and optics are for the NVIDIA. HIP and one API are for the others. I don't know which is which. I have an NVIDIA, so I just set mine to CUDA. I've not seen any significant difference between NVIDIA CUDA and NVIDIA optics. I just leave it on CUDA. Undo steps, depending on the memory that you've got. If you can do it, I will go for the full 256. The more undo steps you've got, the better, because you will make a mistake and you will work on past it, and you will realize you've got to back up, and the more steps you've got to back up with, the better. So set that as high as you can get away with, depending on what memory you've got. That's pretty much it for the system. Save and load. I would set your save versions to 3 or 4. That will, every time you save your file, it will save a rotating list of the last 3 or 4 saves that you make. It will keep the last 3 or 4 of them in a rotating list. Gives you another way to back up if something goes wrong. Just gives you a bit of extra security, an extra bit of backup. Autosave, I have my timer at 15 minutes, but be aware autosave only works if you've saved your file. Until you save your file, it doesn't know where to save it because it's not been saved. So when you start a project, save it. First thing, save it. That's activating autosave as well. If you don't save it, you go 2.5 hours down the road working away on your project, and then Blender crashes. It's not saved. Autosave hasn't saved it. You haven't saved it. Autosave hasn't saved it. It's gone bye-bye. So don't ask me how I know, but now I know, I save. Because I don't want to go down that road again. So yeah, autosave. That's all in there, and then file and path, there's nothing in there. So that's the preferences. That's the first step. Next video, I'm going to cover the user interface, what all the bits are called, how some of it works, how to set up a default startup file, how to set up a default user interface, customize the interface and change things around and get it adjusted to suit you, because everything in Blender is customizable. Pretty much everything is customizable. You can do so much with it, it is unreal. So we'll cover that in the next tutorial, and then after that we'll be getting into the tools and start making stuff. So hopefully you found it a little bit useful. If you've got any questions in the comments, jump in the Discord, drop me a DM, whatever. I'm here to help. If I can help you, I will. If I can't help you, I will try to find you the help from somewhere else. But that's what it's all about, helping each other. You know, maybe making friends. That's what it's all about. It's just, you know, a bit of enjoyment for me. It's not a job. It's not something I do for money. It's just something I do because I enjoy it. I love it. I love Blender. Love it. So anyhow, see you in the next one. Maybe, hopefully. Bye bye now.